I think the importance of museums is that it creates access for people to enjoy and experience arts, in often people who would not be able to. And I think the fact that it's there and it's open, it needs to be seen. There is a stigma attached to these spaces which makes people feel uncomfortable, and a lot of people feel like they don't have a sense of belonging in these spaces, so they're intimidated. But what people don't realize in South Africa is that they own the art in the National Gallery. They do. The National Gallery, the art in the National Gallery belongs to the people. So by feeling no sense of belonging makes no sense, because you own the work as a South African citizen. That work belongs to you. So you go in there and own it. Enjoy it, because it's there for you. Our tax money and our government is just using this money, our money, to buy this work for your enjoyment. And you have an entitlement to go and enjoy it. But I do think that access to arts is very important, and I can remember as a child growing up, and like I said, when we first went into exile with my father, and I was 9 years old, and I went to England, and I remember going to school and doing literature, and the books that we were reading, and the art, we were going to all these museums, which is just free and open to the public. And I mean, there was like things I didn't think was possible. You know, I remember seeing Kandinsky's first exhibition and how simple these lines were on paper, but how extraordinary it was. And I stood there thinking, oh, I can do so much better. And that's what museums are there for, to remind you that you can do so much better. So now, you know, you maybe only think that you haven't been exposed to the arts, yet you sit at home and you sew with your mother. And then you come to a museum and you see something that has been stitched, and you think to yourself, that is incredible, but I do that with my mother at home. I stitch all the time. I stitch the dishcloths, I stitch my clothes, we make embroidery. I can do this, but what it does, it shows you the capacity to push what you can already do to new spaces. So when I was sitting in needlework class, and I was always chucked out of needlework, by the way, I was always sitting outside the classroom because I used to talk too much. And then for the first time, I saw these embroideries in a museum, which was ancient. I think it was from the Ottoman Empire. And that changed how I felt about embroidery. And I thought, that stuff that I was doing outside the classroom that I was complaining about can actually become that's on the wall. And now I try and make it 10 times bigger because we can. So simply, it just actually reinforces that you are capable of doing anything, actually. So if it's available, make use of it. Go and see it. Go and taste it. Go and smell it. Because I promise you, you can do it. That's all it takes. And that's why I made my taxi project. That's what the taxi project was all about, was to make the arts accessible to the public. So for people who cannot get into museums, who don't have the time to get into museums, they can just get a taste so that they make the time, because all you need is a taste. And once you're there, you're like, wow, I can do this.